Close your eyes and imagine yourself in a place where time moves slowly, where the air is warm and still, and where the greatest hunters on earth move like liquid shadows through dappled sunlight. This is the realm of the big cats, creatures who have walked beside humanity through millennia, inspiring our myths, our art, and our deepest sense of wonder. Tonight, we journey together through forests, savannas, mountains, and jungles to meet these magnificent beings. We'll discover not the fierce predators of documentaries, but the quiet moments, the gentle play, the peaceful rest, the tender bonds between mother and cub. Let the rhythm of their world slow your breathing, calm your mind, and carry you into peaceful rest. Our story begins where all cat stories begin, with a soft pat of paws and the golden glow of sunset. Fact 1. The Panthera lineage. In the grand family tree of cats, there exists a special branch called Panthera, the genus of true big cats. This ancient lineage includes 5 magnificent species: lions, tigers, leopards, jaguars, and snow leopards. These cats share a common ancestor that lived roughly 11 million years ago, and despite now inhabiting different continents and climates, they remain remarkably similar in their grace, their power, and their elegant approach to life. What unites them most profoundly is something wonderful. Most of them can roar, a deep resonant sound made possible by a special modification in their throat structure. Fact 2. The roar that shakes the air. The ability to roar comes from a partially ossified hyoid bone in the throat, a delicate anatomical feature that allows the larynx to expand and produce those deep, rumbling vocalizations that can carry for miles across open landscapes. When a lion roars at dawn or a tiger calls through the forest at dusk, they're using this same evolutionary gift, a voice that speaks of territoriality and strength, but also of connection. Interestingly, the snow leopard, despite being part of the Panthera genus, cannot produce a true roar. Instead, this mountain ghost communicates through prusin, a soft chuffing sound, and long, wailing calls that echo through high peaks. Fact 3. The clouded leopard's grace. Beyond the 5 Panthera species, several other magnificent cats are sometimes called big cats because of their size and majesty. The clouded leopard of Southeast Asia, though not technically in the Panthera genus, possesses perhaps the most beautiful coat of any wild cat, a pattern of cloud-like rosettes and swirls against a background of gold and gray. These cats are so graceful in trees that they can hang upside down from branches using only their hind feet, their long tail providing perfect balance as they navigate the forest canopy. Fact 4. The cheetah's unique place. The cheetah, often grouped with big cats due to its size, actually belongs to a different lineage entirely. These spotted sprinters evolved separately, developing their incredible speed at the cost of many traits other big cats possess. Cheetahs cannot roar; instead, they chirp, purr, and make bird-like sounds. They're built for velocity rather than power, with lightweight frames, enlarged nasal passages for oxygen intake, and semi-retractable claws that act like running spikes. In the quiet of the savanna evening, a mother cheetah's purr as she grooms her cubs sounds remarkably like the purr of a house cat, only deeper and more resonant. Fact 5. The cougar's silent kingdom. The cougar, also called puma, mountain lion, or panther, holds the record for most names of any animal, with over 40 different designations across its range. Despite being one of the largest cats in the Americas, cougars cannot roar. They belong to the feline subfamily, like house cats. Instead, they produce an eerie, human-like scream during mating season and communicate through chirps, whistles, and purrs. A cougar mother purrs constantly while nursing her cubs, a soothing rumble that must feel like the safest sound in the world to those tiny spotted babies. Fact 6. Ancient relatives and lost giants. The big cats we know today are survivors of a much larger family. Throughout prehistory, enormous cats roamed the earth, the saber-toothed cats with their elongated canines, the American lion that was larger than any modern lion, and the giant jaguar that hunted Ice Age megafauna. These magnificent beasts vanished roughly 10,000 years ago during the last Ice Age, leaving behind only fossils and the echoes of their presence in our collective memory. The big cats of today carry forward an ancient legacy, refined by millions of years of evolution into forms perfectly suited to their environments. Fact 7. Genetic connections across continents. Despite being separated by vast oceans and evolving in isolation for millions of years, big cats remain surprisingly similar at a genetic level. Lions and leopards can occasionally interbreed in captivity, producing hybrid offspring called leopards. Tigers and lions can produce ligers and tigans. These successful crossbreeds, though rare and typically sterile, demonstrate how recently these species diverged from their common ancestor. In the wild, of course, such breeding never occurs. Each species has evolved specific behaviors, habitats, and territories that keep them reproductively isolated. Fact 8. The cat that walks between worlds. Of all the big cats, only the leopard has truly mastered the art of adapting to nearly any environment. Leopards live in African savannas, Asian rainforests, Middle Eastern deserts, Russian forests, and even the edges of cities. They climb trees with kills heavier than themselves, swim when necessary, and can survive in territories as small as a few square miles or as large as several hundred. This adaptability comes from their fundamentally flexible nature. Leopards are patient, solitary, and willing to eat almost any prey, from beetles to young giraffes. Fact 9. What makes a cat a cat? Whether tiger or tabby, all cats share fundamental traits that define their family. They're obligate carnivores with digestive systems designed exclusively for meat. They possess retractable claws, except cheetahs, that stay sharp and hidden until needed. Their eyes contain a special reflective layer called the tapetum lucidum that makes them shine in darkness and helps them see with just 1/6 the light humans need. Their rough tongues, covered in backward-facing barbs called papillae, serve as built-in grooming combs and help rasp meat from bones. In these shared features, we see the deep connection between a lion dozing under an acacia tree and a house cat curled in a sunbeam. They are, at heart, the same miraculous design. Fact 10. The only social cat. Among all the big cats, only lions have chosen to live in groups, forming prides that function as extended families. A typical pride consists of related females, mothers, daughters, sisters, aunts, who remain together for life, along with a coalition of males who defend the pride's territory. This social structure is unique among cats, and it shapes every aspect of lion behavior. In the quiet afternoon heat, pride members sleep pressed against each other, their breathing synchronized, their trust absolute. This physical closeness, this constant contact, is something no other big cat experiences. Fact 11. The sisterhood of lionesses. The true core of any pride is its female members, who cooperate in ways that seem almost human. Lionesses hunt together in coordinated strategies, nurse each other's cubs without distinction, and defend their territory as a unified force. They communicate through subtle body language, a flick of the tail, a turn of the head, that coordinates group movements with remarkable precision. When one lioness gives birth, the others protect her, and when the cubs are old enough, all the pride's females treat them as communal children, allowing any cub to nurse from any lactating female. Fact 12. The nomadic males. Male lions live a different life, one marked by wandering and eventual combat. Young males are expelled from their birth pride around 3 years of age and must spend years as nomads, often with their brothers or cousins, roaming vast territories in search of a pride to claim. This nomadic period is dangerous and lonely, but it serves an important purpose. It prevents inbreeding and ensures genetic diversity across populations. When males finally take over a pride, they may hold it for only 2 to 4 years before younger, stronger males displace them, and the cycle continues. Fact 13. The purpose of the mane. A male lion's mane is one of nature's most magnificent displays, a flowing crown of hair that serves multiple purposes. The mane protects the neck and throat during fights with rival males, absorbs the impact of blows, and makes the lion appear larger and more intimidating. But perhaps most importantly, the mane serves as an honest signal of health and genetic quality. Darker, fuller manes indicate higher testosterone levels and better nutrition, helping lionesses choose the fittest mates. In the Tsavo region of Kenya, many males have reduced manes or no manes at all, an adaptation to the hot, thorny environment that puzzled scientists for generations. Fact 14. The roar at dawn. A lion's roar is among the loudest of any big cat, capable of reaching 114 decibels and carrying for up to 5 miles across open terrain. Lions roar most frequently at dawn and dusk, the times when prides are most active. But this roar isn't merely a territorial warning, it's also a form of social bonding. When pride members roar together in a chorus, they're reinforcing their social bonds and coordinating their positions across large territories. There's something profoundly moving about hearing this ancient sound, unchanged for thousands of years, rolling across the African grasslands as the sun breaks the horizon. Fact 15. The hunt and the rest. Despite their reputation as fierce hunters, lions actually spend most of their time resting, up to 20 hours per day. This isn't laziness but efficiency. In the intense heat of the African day, activity would waste precious energy in water. Lions have evolved to be explosive athletes for short periods, with hunts typically lasting less than an hour, followed by long periods of rest and digestion. During the hottest hours, entire prides sprawl in whatever shade they can find, completely relaxed, occasionally flicking an ear or swishing a tail to discourage flies, but otherwise still as stones. Fact 16. Cubs and play. Lion cubs are born with spots that fade as they mature, and they spend their first months in constant play. This play isn't frivolous, it's education. Cubs stalk each other through grass, pounce on their mother's tails, and engage in mock battles that teach them the skills they'll need for survival. The patience lionesses show with their cubs is remarkable. Even when a cub claws at a sensitive nose or bites an ear, Mothers rarely do more than gently push the youngster away. This tolerance creates a safe space for learning, where mistakes don't have fatal consequences. Fact 17. The challenge of survival. Life for lions is more precarious than their regal reputation suggests. Fewer than half of all lion cubs survive to 2 years of age, falling victim to starvation, disease, predation by hyenas or leopards, or infanticide when new males take over a pride. This harsh reality makes the tenderness between mothers and cubs even more poignant. Each moment of play, each nursing session, each grooming ritual is precious and potentially fleeting. When a lioness loses cubs, she often exhibits behaviors that suggest genuine grief, staying near the site of death and calling for her lost offspring. Fact 18. Twilight hunters. While lions can hunt at any time, they prefer the dim light of dusk and dawn when their superior night vision gives them an advantage. In these liminal hours, the world takes on a softer quality, the harsh contrasts of day dissolve into gradients of blue and gold, and sound carries differently through the cooling air. This is when prides begin to stir, when the first low rumbles of communication pass between members, when the day's rest gives way to the night's purpose. For lions, these transitional times aren't just practical, they're part of an ancient rhythm, a dance with the sun that has persisted for millennia. Fact 19. The largest cat on Earth. The tiger holds the title of world's largest cat, with Siberian tigers in particular reaching weights of up to 660 pounds and lengths exceeding 10 feet from nose to tail tip. Yet despite this massive size, tigers move through their forest homes with almost supernatural quiet, their huge padded paws making virtually no sound on the forest floor. There's something deeply calming about imagining such a large creature moving with such grace, a reminder that power and gentleness aren't opposites but often companions. Fact 20. A life of solitude. Unlike their social lion cousins, tigers are solitary hunters who maintain territories they defend against others of the same sex. A male tiger's territory might span 40 to 100 square miles and overlap with the smaller territories of several females. Tigers patrol these vast areas alone, marking boundaries with scent, scratch marks, and occasionally vocalizations. This solitary lifestyle isn't driven by antisocial tendencies but by practical necessity. The dense forests where most tigers live can't support the large herds that make lions' cooperative hunting possible. Fact 21. Every stripe tells a story. No two tigers share the same pattern of stripes. Like human fingerprints, each tiger's stripes are unique, allowing researchers to identify individuals from photographs. These stripes serve as camouflage, breaking up the tiger's outline and the dappled light filtering through forest canopy or tall grass. Even more remarkably, a tiger's stripes extend to the skin beneath the fur. If you were to shave a tiger, you'd still see the stripe pattern. The exact arrangement of stripes may be random, but their function is precise, to make one of Earth's largest predators nearly invisible in its environment. Fact 22. The white tiger mystery. Occasionally, tigers are born with a recessive gene that produces white fur with dark stripes instead of the typical orange coat. These white tigers aren't albinos, they have blue eyes and normal pigmentation in their stripes. In the wild, white tigers would be at a significant disadvantage, lacking the camouflage orange tigers enjoy. The white coloration seen in captive tigers has been perpetuated through selective breeding, often through inbreeding, which has unfortunately led to various health problems. The natural occurrence of white tigers in the wild is extraordinarily rare, possibly happening once in every 10,000 births. Fact 23. Tigers in water. Unlike most cats, tigers are excellent swimmers who actively enjoy water. In the hot summers of their range, tigers often spend hours lying in streams and lakes, cooling off and playing. They've been observed swimming distances of several miles, including between islands in the Sundarbans mangrove forests. This comfort with water extends to their hunting. tigers will readily pursue prey into water and have been known to catch fish during salmon runs. Imagine a 500-pound tiger floating peacefully in a forest pool, only its head above water, completely relaxed and content. It's a testament to the varied and often unexpected behaviors these magnificent cats display. Fact 24. The chuff of contentment. Tigers cannot purr, but they have their own sound of contentment, a soft chuffing or prussin, produced by forcing air through their nostrils in short bursts. This gentle sound is used as a friendly greeting between tigers, from mothers to cubs, and sometimes between courting pairs. It's a sound that says, "I mean no harm, I'm happy to see you." In captivity, tigers will chuff at familiar humans as a sign of recognition and acceptance. There's something wonderfully intimate about this quiet vocalization, so different from the tiger's roar, a reminder that even the most powerful predators have tender moments. Fact 25. The shrinking kingdom. A century ago, an estimated 100,000 tigers roamed across Asia, from Turkey to Indonesia, from Siberia to Bali. Today, fewer than 4,000 remain in the wild, occupying less than 5% of their historic range. 3 subspecies, the Bali, Caspian, and Javan tigers, have gone extinct in the last 80 years. The remaining subspecies face continued pressure from habitat loss and poaching. Yet there's hope in this story too. Recent conservation efforts in India, Russia, and Nepal have shown that with proper protection and habitat management, tiger populations can recover and even grow. Fact 26. Motherhood in the shadows. A tigress typically gives birth to 2 to 4 cubs in a secluded den, often in a cave, hollow tree, or dense thicket. For the first 8 weeks, the cubs are completely dependent, blind at birth and weighing only about 2 pounds. The mother leaves them only to hunt, returning several times a day to nurse. Her devotion during this period is absolute. She'll defend her cubs against any threat, including much larger male tigers who sometimes practice infanticide. As the cubs grow, she teaches them to hunt, a process that takes nearly 2 years, during which they remain one of the tightest family units in the big cat world. Fact 27. The silent hunt. Tigers are ambush predators who rely on patience and stealth rather than speed. A tiger might spend hours stalking a single prey animal, moving with infinite patience, freezing when the prey becomes alert, advancing only when the moment is right. The final charge covers only 30 to 40 feet, and even at close range, tigers succeed only about once in every 10 to 20 attempts. This low success rate explains why tigers rest so much. The energy expenditure of hunting is enormous, and failed hunts provide no returns. In the quiet moments of stalking, moving inch by inch through shadowed forest, the tiger exhibits a patience that borders on meditation. Fact 28. Voices of the forest. Beyond roaring and chuffing, tigers produce an amazing array of vocalizations. They moan, snarl, hiss, and growl. They make a sound called a puk, a sharp, coughing roar used to indicate annoyance or to locate each other in dense vegetation. Most hauntingly, they produce long, plaintive calls that echo through the forest, particularly during mating season. These sounds, traveling through misty mountain forests or steamy jungles at dawn or dusk, have inspired centuries of stories and legends, the voice of the forest itself speaking in the language of tigers. Fact 29. Living at the top of the world. The snow leopard makes its home in some of the most remote and inhospitable terrain on Earth, the mountain ranges of Central and South Asia, including the Himalayas, Hindu Kush, and Altai Mountains. These cats live at elevations between 9,000 and 17,000 feet, where the air is thin, temperatures plummet far below zero, and most other large predators cannot survive. In this harsh landscape, the snow leopard has become perfectly adapted, its thick fur, large paws, and powerful build allowing it to thrive where few others can. Fact 30. The perfect mountain coat. A snow leopard's fur is among the densest of any big cat, with up to 26,000 hairs per square inch on their belly, 5 times the density of human hair. This luxurious coat, colored in shades of gray and cream with dark rosettes, provides essential insulation against extreme cold while also offering excellent camouflage against rocky, snowy slopes. The tail is equally remarkable, exceptionally long and thick, accounting for nearly 40% of the cat's total length. It serves as a counterbalance during precarious climbs and can be wrapped around the body like a furry scarf for warmth during rest. Fact 31. Paws like snowshoes. Snow leopards have evolved extraordinarily large paws relative to their body size, which function like natural snowshoes, distributing their weight and allowing them to walk on top of snow rather than sinking in. The paws are also covered in thick fur, even between the toe pads, providing insulation from frozen ground and additional traction on icy surfaces. When a snow leopard walks through deep snow, it places each hind paw exactly in the print of the corresponding front paw, minimizing energy expenditure and creating a single track that looks like the path of a two-legged creature. Fact 32. The leap of faith. Snow leopards are perhaps the most agile of all big cats, capable of leaping distances of up to 50 feet horizontally and 20 feet vertically. They navigate cliff faces and rocky outcrops that would challenge any mountaineer, moving with a fluid grace that seems to defy gravity. Their long tail provides balance during these acrobatic maneuvers, and their powerful hind legs generate explosive force. Watching a snow leopard bound across a mountain slope, making impossible jumps from rock to rock, is like watching water flow, effortless, inevitable, beautiful. Fact 33. The silent phantom. Snow leopards are so elusive that they're sometimes called ghosts of the mountains. They're naturally shy and avoid humans, and their remote habitat makes encounters extraordinarily rare. Local people living in snow leopard territory sometimes go their entire lives without seeing one, despite sharing the landscape with these cats for generations. This elusiveness isn't just instinct, it's enhanced by the snow leopard's incredible camouflage and ability to remain motionless for extended periods. In photographs, you can stare at a rocky slope for minutes before suddenly realizing a snow leopard is crouched there, nearly invisible in plain sight. Fact 34. A mother's devotion. Female snow leopards give birth in rocky dens lined with their own shed fur, creating a soft, warm nest for their cubs. Litters typically consist of 2 or 3 cubs, born blind and helpless in the depths of the mountain winter. The mother provides for them alone. Male snow leopards play no role in raising young. For the first 5 months, cubs remain in or near the den, and their mother must hunt twice as frequently to support them. As they grow, she teaches them the art of mountain hunting, a skill so specialized that cubs may stay with their mother for 18 to 22 months, longer than most other big cats. Fact 35. Hunting the Himalayan slopes. The snow leopard's primary prey are mountain ungulates, blue sheep, beryl, Himalayan tahr, argali, and ibex, animals almost as agile as the cats themselves. Snow leopards employ a hunting technique well suited to mountainous terrain. they position themselves above their prey and use gravity to assist their attack, leaping down onto their target. A single adult snow leopard may require one large prey animal every 10 to 15 days. Between kills, they may supplement their diet with smaller prey including marmots, hares, and birds, showing the same versatility and adaptability that characterize all leopards. Fact 36. The mysterious population. Scientists estimate that between 4,000 and 6,500 snow leopards remain in the wild, but this figure is highly uncertain. The cat's remote habitat and elusive nature make accurate census work extraordinarily difficult. Modern techniques using camera traps, GPS collars, and DNA analysis from scat samples are slowly revealing snow leopard ecology, but large gaps remain. In some ways, this mystery is fitting. The snow leopard remains one of the last truly enigmatic large mammals, a creature that still keeps secrets, still surprises researchers, still maintains its ancient dignity in the quiet mountains. Fact 37. Cultural significance. Throughout Central Asia, snow leopards hold deep cultural and spiritual significance. They appear in Buddhist and Tibetan legends as protectors of sacred mountains. In some traditions, they're believed to be reincarnations of lamas or spiritual guides. Local communities often view them with a mixture of reverence and pragmatism. While they occasionally kill livestock, they're also seen as symbols of the mountain's power and health. This cultural respect has helped protect snow leopards in regions where they might otherwise have been eradicated, creating an ancient conservation ethic that predates modern environmental movements. Fact 38. The adaptation to thin air. Living at extreme altitudes means dealing with oxygen levels that can be 40% lower than at sea level. Snow leopards have evolved several adaptations to cope with this challenge, including unusually large nasal cavities that help warm and humidify the frigid air before it reaches the lungs. Their blood has a higher oxygen-carrying capacity than lowland cats. These adaptations allow snow leopards to sprint and climb with explosive energy even in the thin mountain air, pursuing prey across slopes where humans would struggle to walk without gasping. Fact 39. The ultimate adaptability. If there's one word that defines the leopard, it's adaptable. Leopards have the largest distribution of any big cat, inhabiting environments from the rainforests of Central Africa to the semi-deserts of Namibia, from the snowy forests of Russia to the bustling suburbs of Mumbai. This incredible range is possible because leopards are generalists. They'll eat nearly anything, live in almost any habitat with sufficient cover, and adjust their behavior to local conditions. A leopard in Kruger National Park and a leopard in the mountains of Iran might as well be different species in their daily habits, yet they're the same remarkable cat. Fact 40. Masters of the vertical world. While all big cats can climb, leopards have elevated this skill to an art form. They're the only big cat that regularly stores kills in trees, sometimes hauling prey animals weighing more than themselves straight up vertical trunks. A leopard's shoulders and forelimbs are extraordinarily powerful, and their retractable claws provide perfect grip on bark. They can descend trees headfirst, using their flexible ankles to rotate their rear paws backward. In many areas, leopards spend daylight hours resting on large branches, draped in a boneless sprawl, their spotted coats blending with dappled shadows. Fact 41. Rosettes like fingerprints. A leopard's coat is covered with rosettes, roughly circular markings that consist of several spots arranged in a ring. These differ from the solid spots of a cheetah or the larger, more irregular rosettes of a jaguar. The exact pattern is unique to each individual leopard, allowing researchers to identify and track them. But rosettes are more than identification markers, they're superb camouflage. In the broken light beneath a tree canopy or in tall grass, a resting leopard essentially disappears, the rosettes breaking up the cat's outline so effectively that prey animals often pass within feet without detecting the predator. Fact 42, the black panther revealed. Black panthers aren't a separate species, they're leopards, or jaguars, with melanism, a genetic condition that produces excess dark pigment. If you look closely at a black panther in bright light, you can still see the rosette pattern underlying the dark fur. Melanism occurs more frequently in dense forests where the darker coloration may provide better camouflage in deep shadows. Despite their dramatic appearance, black leopards are behaviorally identical to their spotted kin. A melanistic mother can give birth to normal spotted cubs and vice versa, depending on whether the cubs inherit the recessive gene for melanism. Fact 43, the solitary stalker. Leopards are perhaps the most solitary of all big cats. Adult leopards tolerate each other only during brief mating periods, and even then, the courtship is cautious. Males and females maintain separate, overlapping territories marked by scent, scratches, and occasionally vocalizations. Within their territories, leopards establish regular routes and often use the same resting spots repeatedly. Despite this solitude, leopards aren't antisocial, they simply have a different social structure, one based on respect for boundaries and occasional, brief interactions rather than constant companionship. Fact 44, Night's hunter. While leopards can be active at any time, they strongly prefer to hunt at night when their excellent vision gives them a significant advantage over prey. A leopard's eyes contain a high concentration of rod cells for detecting motion in low light, and the reflective tapetum lucidum effectively doubles the light-gathering capability. In absolute darkness, leopards can see about 6 times better than humans. They move through the night like shadows, silent and nearly invisible, relying on memory of their territory to navigate familiar paths without hesitation. Fact 45, the art of the ambush. Leopards are ambush hunters who rely on getting very close to prey before launching a swift, explosive attack. They may wait for hours beside a trail, absolutely motionless except for the occasional swivel of an ear. When the moment comes, the attack is over in seconds, a burst of acceleration, the grasping of prey with extended claws, and a killing bite to the throat or back of the neck. If the initial attack fails, leopards rarely pursue prey more than a short distance, preferring to return to stalking rather than waste energy on a chase they're unlikely to win. Fact 46, a diet of opportunity. Leopards are ultimate opportunists, with recorded prey ranging from insects to young giraffes. Medium-sized ungulates like impala are preferred, but leopards will eat monkeys, birds, reptiles, fish, rodents, and even invertebrates when necessary. This dietary flexibility is a key to their survival across such varied habitats. In cities like Mumbai, leopards have adapted to feeding on feral dogs and even garbage. This adaptability sometimes brings them into conflict with humans, but it's also what allows leopards to persist in a world increasingly dominated by human activity. Fact 47, mother and cubs. Leopard mothers give birth to 2 or 3 cubs in secure locations, caves, dense thickets, or rocky crevices. The cubs are born blind and are completely dependent for their first weeks. Unlike lions, leopard mothers must leave their cubs frequently to hunt, sometimes for several days at a time. To protect them from predators, including male leopards. She moves them to new den sites every few days, carrying them gently by the scruff of the neck. Cubs stay with their mother for 12 to 18 months, learning the intricate skills of independent survival. The bond during this period is intense but ultimately temporary. When the time comes, mother and young part ways without ceremony, each returning to their solitary existence. Fact 48. Vocalizations and communication. Leopards have a wide repertoire of sounds, though they vocalize less frequently than some other big cats. Their most distinctive call is a rough, rasping cough or grunt, often compared to someone sawing wood, which males use to advertise their presence and females use to signal receptivity to mating. They also produce purr-like sounds when content, snarl and growl when threatened, and mothers use a soft ching sound to communicate with cubs. Perhaps most interesting is the sawing call's acoustic properties. It carries exceptionally well through forest environments, allowing leopards to communicate across their large territories without revealing their precise locations. Fact 49. The jungle shadow. The jaguar is the only Panthera species native to the Americas, a powerful cat that once ranged from the southwestern United States to Argentina. Today, their stronghold is the Amazon basin, though they persist in smaller numbers in other regions. Jaguars are creatures of forests and wetlands, rarely found far from water. Their presence was so powerful in indigenous cultures throughout the Americas that the word jaguar itself comes from the indigenous Tupi word yaguar, meaning he who kills with one leap. In Mayan culture, jaguars were associated with shamans and the underworld, seen as creatures that could move between worlds. Fact 50. Built like a tank. Among big cats, jaguars have the stockiest, most muscular build. They're shorter than leopards but significantly heavier, with massive shoulders and forelimbs. This power is reflected in their hunting strategy. Jaguars have the strongest bite force of any big cat relative to body size, capable of piercing turtle shells and even biting through the skull of prey. Their scientific name, Panthera onca, references this strength. Onca derives from a Greek word meaning hooked claw. Despite their power, jaguars move with surprising grace, their strength allowing them to carry large kills through dense vegetation and even to swim while pulling prey. Fact 51. Rosettes with centers. While jaguars superficially resemble leopards, close inspection reveals differences. Jaguar rosettes are larger and typically have one or more small spots in the center, while leopard rosettes are smaller and hollow. Jaguars also tend to have a more golden-orange base color, though this varies by region and individual. Like leopards, jaguars can be melanistic, black, and black jaguars with visible underlying rosettes are found more commonly in dense rainforest areas. The jaguar's pattern provides excellent camouflage in the dappled light of the jungle floor and among the reeds and grasses of wetland environments. Fact 52. The water cat. Jaguars are even more aquatic than tigers, frequently hunting in and around water. They're excellent swimmers who readily pursue prey into rivers and lakes. In the Pantanal wetlands of Brazil, jaguars have been observed catching fish, caimans, anacondas, and capybaras, all aquatic or semi-aquatic prey. They use a unique hunting technique on caimans, approaching silently through the water or from the bank, then delivering a crushing bite to the skull that kills almost instantly. Unlike most cats, jaguars don't seem to mind getting wet and will swim considerable distances, including across wide rivers. Fact 53. The fortress skull. The jaguar's most distinctive feature may be invisible from outside, an exceptionally robust skull with powerful jaw muscles. This skull structure allows for their incredibly powerful bite, which they use not just for the typical big cat throat bite but also to bite directly through bone. This adaptation allows jaguars to exploit prey that other predators can't easily access, like armored animals and turtles. The bite force is so powerful that jaguars often kill large prey by biting directly through the skull between the ears, piercing the brain. This technique is quicker and more reliable than the suffocating throat bite used by most other big cats. Fact 54. Solitary wanderers. Like most big cats, jaguars are solitary animals with large territories. A male's territory can span 19 to 53 square miles, depending on prey availability, while females maintain smaller ranges. These territories are marked with scent, scratch marks on trees, and scrapes on the ground. Jaguars travel regularly throughout their territories, following routes along rivers, game trails, and through dense forest. They're crepuscular, most active during dawn and dusk, though they'll hunt day or night depending on prey activity. In the quiet hours of twilight, when the rainforest transitions between its day and night inhabitants, the jaguar emerges, a shadow among shadows. Fact 55. The roar of the rainforest. Jaguars produce a distinctive vocalization that's deeper and more guttural than a lion's roar, a series of cough-like roars often described as sounding like someone sawing wood, similar to but deeper than the leopard's call. This roaring is used primarily during mating season and territorial disputes. Jaguars also produce other sounds, grunts, growls, mews, and a sound called chuffing or prussin, a friendly greeting sound made by forcing air through the nostrils. In the dense forests they inhabit, acoustic communication is often more practical than visual signals, and the jaguar's deep roar carries well through vegetation. Fact 56. Birth and upbringing. Female jaguars give birth to 1 to 4 cubs, typically 2, after a gestation of about 93 to 105 days. The cubs are born blind and helpless in dens hidden in dense vegetation, caves, or among boulders. They open their eyes after about 2 weeks and begin to accompany their mother on hunting trips at around 6 months, though they continue nursing until they're 5 or 6 months old. Young jaguars stay with their mothers for 1 to 2 years, learning the complex skills of hunting, navigating the forest, and surviving independently. When they leave, they may disperse considerable distances to establish their own territories. Fact 57. The Jaguar Corridor. One of the most hopeful conservation stories involves the Jaguar Corridor, a network of protected areas and wildlife-friendly land connecting jaguar populations from Mexico to Argentina. This ambitious project recognizes that jaguars need large territories and genetic connectivity between populations to remain viable. By maintaining corridors of habitat that allow jaguars to move between protected areas, conservationists hope to ensure the long-term survival of the species. The corridor represents a continental-scale approach to conservation, acknowledging that borders drawn by humans mean nothing to jaguars whose ancestors ranged freely across these lands for millennia. Fact 58. Cultural icon. No animal has been more important to pre-Columbian American cultures than the jaguar. The Olmec, Maya, and Aztec civilizations all revered jaguars, incorporating them into religious symbolism, art, and mythology. Jaguar warriors were elite fighting forces in Aztec society. The Maya associated jaguars with the night sun traveling through the underworld. Even today, Jaguars remain culturally significant in many indigenous communities, seen as powerful spiritual beings worthy of respect and protection. This cultural reverence represents thousands of years of coexistence and understanding, a perspective that modern conservation efforts are increasingly recognizing and incorporating. Fact 59. Built for speed. The cheetah has evolved into the fastest land animal on Earth, capable of reaching speeds up to 70 miles per hour in short bursts covering distances up to 1,600 feet. Every aspect of their anatomy serves this purpose: large nasal passages for oxygen intake, enlarged heart and lungs, lightweight bones, a long tail for balance during high-speed turns, and semi-retractable claws that grip the ground like cleats. When a cheetah runs at full speed, it spends more than half of each stride entirely airborne, its body rotating around its flexible spine like a coiled spring, releasing and recoiling with each bound. Fact 60. The cost of specialization. The cheetah's extreme specialization for speed comes with trade-offs. Their lightweight build and small head mean they lack the power to defend kills from larger predators like lions, leopards, and hyenas. They hunt during the day partly to avoid these competitors. Their claws, adapted for traction rather than fighting or climbing, can't be fully retracted like those of other big cats. They can't roar, lacking the specialized larynx structure. Even their speed has limits. A high-speed chase generates tremendous heat, and cheetahs must rest for up to 30 minutes after a sprint to cool down and recover, leaving them vulnerable. Despite these limitations, cheetahs have survived for millions of years, proof that their strategy works. Fact 61. The social exception. While female cheetahs are solitary like most big cats, males often form coalitions, typically with their brothers from the same litter. These male coalitions are more successful at establishing and defending territories than solitary males, and they have better access to females. Coalition members hunt together, groom each other, and maintain close bonds throughout their lives. There's something touching about watching coalition brothers resting together, their spotted coats pressed close, their long tails intertwined. In the harsh world of the African savanna, they've found companionship. Fact 62. Mothers and cubs. A female cheetah typically gives birth to 3 to 5 cubs, though litters can range from 1 to 8. The cubs are born with a mantle of long, gray fur on their backs, which makes them resemble honey badgers, possibly offering protection through mimicry, as honey badgers are fierce and avoided by predators. This mantle begins to shed at about 3 months of age. Cheetah mothers face immense challenges raising cubs. Mortality rates are high, with only about 5% of cubs surviving to adulthood. Predation by lions and hyenas is the primary cause, and the mother must frequently move her cubs to new hiding spots and remain vigilant constantly. Fact 63. The hunt's precision. A cheetah's hunt is one of nature's most thrilling spectacles, but also one of its most calculated. Cheetahs choose prey carefully, typically medium-sized antelope like Thompson's gazelles or impalas. They stalk to within about 100 to 300 feet, then explode into their high-speed chase. The chase itself rarely lasts more than a minute. If the cheetah hasn't caught its prey within about 20 to 30 seconds, it gives up to avoid overheating. During the chase, the cheetah must match every turn and dodge of its prey, using its long tail as a rudder. The kill is made by tripping the prey and then delivering a suffocating bite to the throat. Fact 64. Unique among cats. Cheetahs differ from other big cats in numerous ways beyond their speed. They have dog-like social behaviors, including the chirping, barking, and yipping vocalizations they use to communicate, sounds quite unlike the roars, growls, and purrs of other cats. They can purr but only while exhaling, similar to small cats. Their pupils are round rather than slit-like. They have distinctive tear marks running from the inner corners of their eyes to the sides of their mouths, which may help reduce glare from the sun during daytime hunts, functioning somewhat like the black patches athletes wear under their eyes. Fact 65. The genetic bottleneck. All cheetahs alive today are remarkably similar genetically, descended from a small population that survived a bottleneck event roughly 10,000 years ago. This lack of genetic diversity means cheetahs are very susceptible to diseases and have lower reproductive rates than other big cats. Skin grafts from unrelated cheetahs are not rejected, so genetically similar are they. This vulnerability adds urgency to conservation efforts. With so little genetic diversity, cheetahs may have reduced ability to adapt to environmental changes. Despite this, they've persisted, and current populations, while threatened, show the species' resilience. Fact 66. Range and habitat. Cheetahs were once found throughout Africa and into Asia, including the Middle East and India. Today, they're primarily restricted to sub-Saharan Africa, with a tiny, critically endangered population of fewer than 50 Asiatic cheetahs surviving in Iran. Cheetahs prefer open or semi-open habitats where they can use their speed, grasslands, savannas, and semi-desert areas. They avoid dense forests where their hunting strategy wouldn't work. This habitat specificity, combined with habitat loss and fragmentation, is one of the primary threats facing cheetah populations. Fact 67. Vulnerable speedsters. Despite being the fastest land animal, cheetahs are classified as vulnerable by the IUCN, with populations declining. Only about 7,000 cheetahs remain in the wild, scattered across fragmented populations. Their main threats include habitat loss, human-wildlife conflict, they're sometimes killed for preying on livestock, and competition with larger predators. Additionally, the illegal pet trade affects cheetah populations, particularly in the Horn of Africa. Conservation efforts focus on protecting habitat, reducing human conflict, and maintaining corridors between populations. The cheetah's story reminds us that even the most perfectly adapted animal can be vulnerable in a rapidly changing world. Fact 68. The cat of many names. The cougar holds the Guinness World Record for the animal with the most names, over 40 in English alone. Puma, mountain lion, panther, catamount, painter, ghost cat, and many more, reflecting its vast range in the many cultures that have encountered it. Scientifically known as puma concolor, meaning cat of one color, the cougar is unique among big cats for its plain coat. This variety of names speaks to the animal's adaptability and its profound impact on human cultures across 2 continents. Fact 69. From Canada to Patagonia. Cougars have the largest range of any wild terrestrial mammal in the Western Hemisphere, from the Canadian Yukon to the southern Andes of South America. This remarkable distribution is possible because cougars are extreme generalists, able to survive in environments from tropical rainforest to snowy mountains, from arid deserts to temperate forests. They can live at sea level or at elevations exceeding 10,000 feet. This adaptability rivals that of humans and speaks to the cougar's behavioral flexibility and lack of habitat specialization. Fact 70. The solitary hunter. Cougars are perhaps the most solitary of all big cats, with adults interacting only briefly for mating. Males maintain large territories that may span 50 to 150 square miles, overlapping with the smaller territories of several females. They mark these territories with scrapes, small piles of debris covered with urine or feces, and with scent marks and scratches on trees. Within their territories, cougars follow regular routes and establish kill sites, rest areas, and travel corridors. They know every ridge, every drainage, every game trail in their domain, moving through their landscape with intimate familiarity. Fact 71. Silent stalkers. Cougars are ambush predators extraordinaire, capable of incredibly patient stalks that may last hours. They rely on terrain and vegetation to approach prey, often using rocky outcrops, fallen logs, or dense brush as cover. When within range, typically 30 to 50 feet, the cougar launches an explosive charge, covering the distance in just a few bounds. They often attack from above, using their powerful hind legs to leap down onto prey from elevated positions. The kill is made with a suffocating bite to the throat or a neck bite that severs the spinal cord. If the initial attack fails, cougars rarely pursue prey more than a short distance. Fact 72. Deer specialists. While cougars will eat almost anything from insects to elk, their primary prey across most of their range is deer. An adult cougar may kill a deer every 1 to 2 weeks, eating what it can and often caching the rest under leaves and debris to return to later. This specialization on deer means cougar populations closely track deer populations, and cougar behavior changes seasonally as deer migrate. The relationship between cougars and deer is ancient. These two species have been engaged in a predator-prey dance for millennia, each shaping the evolution of the other. Fact 73. Remarkable jumpers. Cougars are extraordinary athletes, capable of vertical leaps of 18 feet and horizontal jumps exceeding 40 feet. They can run at speeds up to 50 miles per hour for short distances and are excellent climbers and swimmers. These physical capabilities allow them to hunt and live in incredibly varied terrain. A cougar might swim across a river, climb up a rocky cliff, stalk through dense forest, and sprint across open ground, all in a single day's patrol of its territory. Their long, muscular tail, accounting for about a third of their total length, provides essential balance during these acrobatic movements. Fact 74. Communication through sound. Despite being unable to roar, cougars are quite vocal. They scream, a high-pitched, haunting sound often compared to a woman screaming, particularly during mating season. They chirp and whistle to communicate with cubs. They hiss and growl when threatened. Perhaps most surprisingly, adult cougars purr, a sound similar to but much louder than a house cat's purr. A mother cougar purrs while nursing her cubs, while grooming them, and while resting with them, a sound of contentment and security that resonates through their den. Fact 75. Spots to solid. Cougar cubs are born with spots and blue eyes, both of which fade as they mature. Litters typically consist of 2 to 3 cubs, born after a gestation of about 90 days. The cubs remain hidden in a den for their first 6 weeks, during which their mother leaves only to hunt. As they grow, they begin to accompany her on hunting trips, watching and learning. Young cougars stay with their mothers for 12 to 18 months, and when they finally disperse to find their own territories, they may travel great distances, sometimes over 100 miles, in search of unoccupied habitat. Fact 76. Return to the East. Cougars once ranged throughout North America but were extirpated from the eastern United States by the early 1900s through intensive hunting and habitat loss. However, in recent decades, cougars have begun returning to parts of their former range, with confirmed sightings as far east as Connecticut and even urban areas of cities like Los Angeles. This return represents both a conservation success and a challenge. How do we share landscapes with large predators? The answer being developed involves education, habitat management, and learning to coexist with these magnificent cats who, from their perspective, are simply reclaiming ancient territories. Fact 77. The northern lynx. The Canada lynx and Eurasian lynx are medium-sized wild cats, smaller than the Panthera species but still impressive predators in their own right. The Canada lynx, with its enormous snowshoe-like paws, black-tipped tail, and prominent ear tufts, is a specialist of boreal forests. These cats are so well adapted to snow that their population dynamics are intimately tied to those of snowshoe hares, their primary prey. In years when hare populations boom, lynx populations follow. When hares decline, lynx numbers crash in a predictable cycle that has fascinated ecologists for decades. Fact 78. Ear tufts and facial ruffs. One of the most distinctive features of lynx species is their prominent ear tufts, black tufts of fur extending from the tips of their ears. Scientists debate the function of these tufts. They may enhance hearing by funneling sound into the ears, or they may serve as visual communication signals, becoming more erect when the cat is alert or excited. Lynx also have pronounced facial ruffs, collar-like patterns of longer fur around their face that make their head appear larger and may serve social signaling functions. These features give lynx a distinctive appearance that's both beautiful and slightly comical. They look like serious cats dressed in elaborate Victorian collars. Fact 79. The ghost of the forest. Lynx are extraordinarily elusive, moving through their boreal and mountain forest homes like ghosts. Their thick fur is gray-brown, providing excellent camouflage against tree bark and forest shadows. They're most active during twilight and night, and they move silently on their enormous paws. People who live in lynx territory sometimes go their entire lives without seeing one, though the cats may pass through their property regularly. This elusiveness is partly instinct and partly necessity. In the harsh northern forests they inhabit, energy conservation is crucial, and unnecessary activity is avoided. Fact 80. The bobcat's adaptability. The bobcat, North America's most common wild cat, demonstrates remarkable adaptability. These medium-sized cats live in habitats ranging from swamps to deserts, from dense forests to suburban edges. Unlike their lynx cousins, bobcats are generalists, eating whatever prey is available: rabbits, rodents, birds, reptiles, and even small deer. Their adaptability extends to human-modified landscapes. Bobcats persist in fragmented habitats and even venture into suburban areas, particularly at night. They're proof that with sufficient cover and prey, wild cats can coexist with humans far more readily than we often assume. Fact 81. Spots and stealth. Bobcats have beautiful reddish-brown to grayish coats covered with black spots and bars. The spotting is more prominent on the legs and belly, while the back tends to be more uniformly colored. This pattern provides excellent camouflage in the broken light of brushy and forested environments. The bobtail that gives them their name, only 4 to 7 inches long, is black on top and white underneath, serving as a visual signal to trailing cubs: follow the white flag. Bobcats move through their territories with remarkable stealth, their movements calculated and economical. Fact 82. Territorial marking. Like all cats, lynx and bobcats maintain territories marked with scent. They create scrapes, shallow depressions in the ground, and mark them with urine or feces. They also scratch trees and logs, leaving visual and scent marks. These territorial markers serve as a communication system, allowing cats to avoid each other while sharing landscapes. When territories overlap at the edges, cats can detect how recently another individual passed through and adjust their behavior accordingly. This system of mutual avoidance reduces conflict and allows for relatively high densities of cats in good habitat. Fact 83. Specialized hunters. While bobcats are generalists, lynx are specialists adapted for hunting snowshoe hares. A lynx's enormous paws distribute weight so effectively that they can run across snow that would swallow most predators. Their long legs allow high stepping through deep snow. Even their hunting technique is specialized. Lynx typically hunt by still hunting or stalking rather than pursuing prey, waiting in ambush near hare trails or stalking to within pouncing range. This specialization makes lynx incredibly efficient at catching hares but also vulnerable to hare population crashes. Fact 84. Mother's care. Both lynx and bobcats are devoted mothers. Females give birth to litters of 1 to 6 kittens, typically 2 to 4, in dens hidden in hollow logs, rock crevices, or dense brush. The kittens are born blind and helpless, entirely dependent on their mother for the first weeks. As they grow, she teaches them to hunt, bringing them progressively more active prey, first dead, then injured, finally healthy animals, allowing them to practice their skills safely. Young cats stay with their mothers through their first winter, learning the skills they'll need to survive independently. When they disperse in spring, they carry their mother's knowledge with them. Fact 85. Vocalizations of medium cats. Neither lynx nor bobcats can roar, but they produce a surprising variety of sounds. Both species hiss, growl, and spit when threatened. They make chirping or chattering sounds at prey. Most dramatically, during mating season they produce loud caterwauling, yowling, screaming sounds that echo through the forest at night. These vocalizations, particularly the bobcat's screams, can sound startlingly human and have likely contributed to various folklore and mysterious forest sounds reported throughout history. Despite their fierce reputation, both species also purr when content, a reminder of their connection to domestic cats. Fact 86. The patience of predators. What distinguishes big cats from many other predators is patience. Whether it's a leopard lying motionless on a branch for hours, a tiger creeping forward inches at a time, or a lion waiting in ambush by a waterhole, big cats understand that haste leads to hunger. This patience extends beyond individual hunts. A big cat that fails 9 times doesn't give up on the 10th attempt. They return to successful hunting areas, adjust their techniques based on experience, and maintain their territories knowing that eventually, prey will come to them. This patience is meditative in its completeness, a total commitment to the present moment. Fact 87. Reading the landscape. Big cats possess an intimate knowledge of their territories that allows them to predict prey movements. They know where antelope come to drink at dawn, which trails deer use at dusk, where zebras cross rivers during migration. This knowledge is built over months and years of observation, creating mental maps of extraordinary detail. A cougar knows which ridge will catch the first morning light, attracting deer. A tiger knows where somber congregate during the hottest part of the day. This deep familiarity transforms hunting from random chance to calculated probability. Fact 88. The kill bite. Most big cats kill with a bite to the throat, using their powerful jaws and long canine teeth to clamp the windpipe shut, suffocating prey while their claws hold it still. This method is relatively slow. It can take several minutes for large prey to die, but it's safe, minimizing the risk of injury from struggling prey. Jaguars are the exception, often using a skull bite that kills almost instantly. Some cats, when hunting smaller prey, deliver a neck bite that severs the spinal cord. Each technique reflects both the cat's anatomy and the prey it typically hunts, refined through countless generations. Fact 89: Success rates and failure. Even apex predators fail more often than they succeed. Lions hunting cooperatively have success rates of about 20 to 30%. Solitary hunters like leopards and tigers succeed only 5 to 10% of the time. Cheetahs, despite their speed, succeed in only about 50% of hunts. These low success rates explain why big cats spend so much time resting. The energy expenditure of hunting is enormous, and failed hunts provide no return. This reality means big cats must be opportunistic, ready to hunt whenever prey is available, and efficient, choosing prey and tactics that maximize success probability while minimizing energy expenditure. Fact 90: Caching and feeding. After a successful hunt, big cats face the challenge of keeping their kills safe from scavengers. Leopards solve this by hauling kills into trees. Lions, hunting cooperatively and being large enough to defend kills, typically feed on the ground. Solitary ground-dwelling cats like tigers and cougars often drag kills to secluded spots and cover them with vegetation between feeding sessions. A large kill can provide food for several days, and cats typically remain near their cache, resting nearby and returning to feed periodically. This pattern of feast and fast is natural for big cats. They're adapted to go days between meals. Fact 91: Seasonal hunting patterns. Big cat hunting patterns often shift with seasons, following prey movements and availability. Tigers in some regions follow migrating deer between summer and winter ranges. Lions' hunting success varies with grass height, easier in burned or grazed areas where prey is more visible. Cheetahs face harder hunting in rainy seasons when grass grows tall. These seasonal shifts require flexibility, with cats adjusting their techniques, hunting times, and even prey preferences based on changing conditions. This adaptability, this willingness to change tactics while maintaining core strategies, is another key to big cats' success across diverse environments. Fact 92: The role of apex predators. Big cats play crucial ecological roles beyond simply eating prey. As apex predators, they regulate prey populations, preventing overgrazing and maintaining ecosystem health. They practice what ecologists call predation on the sick and weak, removing unhealthy individuals and potentially reducing disease spread. Their kills feed numerous scavengers, from birds to jackals to insects. Even their presence affects prey behavior, the landscape of fear that causes prey animals to avoid certain areas, allowing vegetation in those areas to recover. Big cats shape entire ecosystems through both direct and indirect effects. Fact 93: Conflict with humans. When big cats hunt livestock, conflict with humans becomes inevitable. This conflict is one of the primary threats to big cat populations worldwide. The issue is complex. For herders, losing livestock can mean economic devastation. For conservationists, killing big cats threatens already endangered populations. Solutions being developed include improved livestock protection, better fencing, guard animals, compensation programs for livestock losses, and community-based conservation that gives local people economic incentives to protect rather than persecute big cats. These solutions recognize that conservation must work for both wildlife and people. Fact 94: the future of wild prey. Big cat conservation ultimately depends on prey conservation. As wild habitats shrink and prey populations decline due to human hunting and habitat loss, big cats face starvation or turn to livestock, increasing human conflict. Protecting big cats therefore requires protecting entire ecosystems: the prey's food sources, the water sources, the migration routes. This holistic approach to conservation recognizes that species don't exist in isolation but as parts of interconnected systems. The future of big cats lies not just in protecting them but in maintaining the wild landscapes and prey populations they depend upon. Fact 95: the language of scent. For solitary big cats, scent marking is the primary means of communication. They spray urine on trees, rocks, and vegetation, creating scent posts that convey information about identity, sex, reproductive status, and how recently they passed. They also leave scent marks from glands in their paws when they scratch trees and make scrapes. To a big cat, these scent marks are like a bulletin board or social media post. They check regularly to see who's been through their territory and leave their own updates. This system allows cats to avoid each other when desired while also facilitating breeding encounters. Fact 96: visual signals and body language. Despite being less social than many mammals, big cats have rich repertoires of visual communication. Ear position conveys mood: forward when alert or curious, back when threatened or aggressive. Tail position and movement signal intentions: a lashing tail indicates agitation, while a relaxed tail suggests contentment. Facial expressions, including bared teeth, narrowed eyes, and whisker position, communicate emotional states. Even the decision to make oneself visible or to hide conveys information. These signals allow brief face-to-face encounters to occur without violence, cats assessing each other and deciding whether to fight, flee, or tolerate. Fact 97: the flame in response. When big cats encounter interesting scents, particularly scent marks from other cats, they often exhibit the flame in response, curling back their upper lip, opening their mouths slightly, and inhaling. This distinctive expression allows them to draw scent molecules into the vomeronasal organ, Jacobson's organ, located in the roof of the mouth, which provides additional information about the scent, particularly regarding reproductive status. The flame in response looks comical. Cats appear to be grimacing or laughing, but it's a serious chemosensory analysis, gathering crucial social and reproductive information. Fact 98: vocalizations and their meanings. Each big cat species has a unique vocal repertoire adapted to its social system and habitat. Social lions vocalize frequently, roaring to maintain pride, cohesion, and territory boundaries, but also producing softer sounds like humming and moaning for close-range communication. Solitary tigers vocalize less frequently but produce a greater variety of sounds, including roars, chuffs, moans, and even a friendly prussing or puffing sound. These vocalizations carry emotional content: fear, aggression, contentment, invitation, that other cats understand. The evolution of these vocal systems reflects each species' needs and social structures. Fact 99. Play behavior in cubs. Young big cats engage in extensive play that serves crucial developmental functions. Cubs wrestle, stalk each other, pounce on anything that moves, and practice killing bites on sticks and leaves. This play isn't frivolous, it develops the neural and muscular coordination necessary for hunting, teaches social boundaries. Playing siblings learn how hard they can bite without retaliation, and builds physical strength. Mother cats tolerate enormous rough play from cubs, allowing them to practice on her moving tail, pounce on her back, and even bite her ears. This patience creates a safe learning environment where mistakes don't mean death.